Hi you guys, welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Brienne for those of you who are new here. I am super excited about today's video. Today I'm going to be making some fermented ginger soda. You guys may or may not be familiar with a ginger bug, and so essentially that's how we're going to be making our soda today from scratch. A ginger bug essentially is just fermented ginger. So I started this process about a week ago. I actually started one a while back, but when I was cleaning out my fridge, I ended up dropping the jar and it broke everywhere. So that was kind of sad because I was super excited to make ginger soda. So since then, it took me a while to get another one going. But the process is very, very easy. Essentially, you're just adding a mixture of water, sugar, and ginger together, leaving it out at room temp over a course of about 5 to 7 days. And what's happening during that process is actually similar to a sourdough starter, if you guys are familiar with that. But essentially what's happening is the wild yeast and bacteria in the environment are causing the ginger to ferment. So essentially what you can do with a ginger bug is you can make your own fermented soda. So we are going to be using, these are swing top bottles. I think that's what they're called. These are going to be the best if you're making any sort of carbonated fermented beverage at home. You definitely want to use these. I got these off of Amazon and I can leave the link below for exactly what I got. So what I just did was poured in 2 cups of water into a saucepan, and I'm going to turn this on about medium heat. The first thing we need to do is make a ginger tea. So I have my water in there, it's heating up, and while that's going, let's go ahead and cut up some fresh ginger. So here's the ginger bug culture. Essentially, like I said, I used coconut sugar instead of cane sugar to make this. So that's why it's darker in color. But I didn't record myself making this. So if you guys do want to know how to make it yourself, it's really, really easy. I'll link a video down below of somebody else who made it on YouTube. And I'll also link the blog post for the recipe that I used as well. So let's go ahead and chop up some fresh ginger. I have a bit left over from when I started the ginger bug. So this is still good. I'm going to use this. But I also got some fresh ginger, and this is organic. I would recommend organic just whenever possible, but you can use regular as well. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and rinse this off. And the recipe called for a half a cup and up to 1 cup if you want extra ginger flavor. I'm going to go ahead and do 1 cup because personally I love like ginger beer and things like that. So I'm going to opt for 1 cup. All right, so I have my ginger nice and rinsed off. And hopefully this will make a cup. I think it will. Let me just go ahead and add in what we have. But I am very, very excited. And so when you're making this, on the recipe that I'll link, she gives a lot of different variations, but I'm kind of just going to do my own spin off of a variation. I found some just blueberry juice from Whole Foods, and it was on sale. So I wanted to do a ginger blueberry infusion. I thought that would be a delicious combination. So that's the flavor I'm going to do. I'm just going to chop this up pretty finely, just so that way I can extract as much of that ginger flavor. I love, love, love ginger. So this soda is going to be definitely a lot healthier than any soda that you can buy in stores. And even with the sodas that they sell, like the probiotic friendly sodas and whatnot, the ones that are shelf stable, those probiotics that are available within the drink aren't going to be as potent as, say, something that's in the refrigerated section that has to stay cold. That just essentially lets you know that the probiotic content is going to be a lot more rich because it has to be preserved. Okay, that's about a cup there. Okay, so we need to add in our ginger. So I'm putting in 1 cup of fresh chopped ginger. It also needs, a 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, And then we need 3/4 of a cup of sugar. So I'm using coconut sugar again, which I know coconut sugar is becoming more and more popular. I don't know if maybe people are skeptical of whether it tastes just like sugar or not, or maybe I think people think that it tastes like coconut, but it really doesn't. So I love to use coconut sugar. It actually has trace minerals and vitamins and things like that in it. So once this comes to a boil, I'm going to turn it off and we're going to let it steep for a bit until it comes to room temperature. Okay, so the directions actually say to let this steep for about 5 minutes, boiling for 5 minutes, and make sure all the sugar dissolves. And after that, I'll remove it from the heat and we'll let it cool. And then we'll continue on with the recipe. Ooh, that smells good. While that is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and get some labels made up. I just want to write, because I'm doing the same flavor for all of them, so I'm going to go ahead and write the date on each bottle that it was made. These should last in the fridge for a couple of weeks, and the recipe said that after a couple of weeks they'll start to lose their sweetness. So I'm just going to write the date so that way I know when exactly. Now, more than likely, I mean, I'm sure they're probably going to be gone within 2 weeks, but just in case, I have this on there. And it looks like these are erasable, which is pretty cool. This came with these bottles on Amazon, which is pretty cool. Eventually, I would like to get into making my own kombucha from scratch as well. I think that that would be really, really cool. And it would probably save a lot of money as well because kombucha is definitely expensive. So one day I will venture and we'll take on that little project as well. All right, there's our alarm. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this off of the heat. I'm just going to set it to the side. While this is cooling, I'm going to go ahead and squeeze 1/4 cup of lemon juice, and I'm going to get the mixture that we're going to combine with the ginger bug culture going, so that way it's ready by the time this is cooled and we can just combine everything together and make our soda. I'll probably need this whole lemon for 1/4 of a cup, but we will see. The recipe said to use like a pitcher, a large pitcher that can fit 8.5 cups, but I don't have one of those. So I'm just going to use this big jar here, and I think that'll work just fine. I'm going to go ahead and measure in 1/4 cup of our lemon juice, and I'll probably start measuring in the rest of the ingredients as well. So I'm going to add this right into my giant clean jar. Now I'm going to go ahead and strain in 1/2 cup of our ginger bug. I'm going to give it a good shake, and I am going to use some cheesecloth just to get any bits that I didn't get out, because when I originally strained this, I didn't really do the best job in getting all the little bits out and things. So I'm going to go ahead and cut some of this off. I'm going to put it over this strainer here, and then we'll strain it right in with our lemon juice. I'm going to measure out 1/2 cup of our ginger bug. Oh, shoot. I forgot it was fermented. Probably shouldn't be shaking it like that. But yeah, this is really, really cool. After the process of making the ginger bug, we tasted it, my husband and I, and it's a little carbonated, which is really cool. So measure out 1/2 cup. And then carefully bring this over. Just pour that over. There we go. So if I missed anything, it's straining it out with the cheesecloth. Okay, now we're gonna need our measuring cup again. I'm gonna go ahead and measure in 2 cups of my blueberry juice and 4 cups of water. So I'm gonna start with the blueberry juice. All right, now I need 4 cups of filtered water. All right, you guys, now that our ginger tea mixture is cooled, I'm gonna go ahead and get our fine strainer again, and we are ready to strain it into our ginger bug culture. After that, we're gonna fill up our bottles. I already have the labels done, and all that's left to do is wait. I should have saved my other cheesecloth, but I threw it away. But I didn't really think about how I was gonna need it for this part. I'm just gonna layer it in here, and we can go ahead and pour our tea mixture over top very carefully because I don't want it to spill out. All right. I'm going to go ahead and give this a stir, and then we can start filling up our bottles. So these bottles came with a nice little funnel, so that's what I'm going to be using to fill each bottle up. We use our liquid measuring cup from earlier. All right. Try not to make a mess. All right, perfect. We have all of our bottles filled up. These are so cute. I love these little bottles. I'm kind of glad I got the mini ones instead of the 16-ounce ones. I think these are really, really cute. I'm going to put all the lids on these. The recipe says to leave them out for 24 hours. And at that time, they should be nice and carbonated. It says that you can open them every 12 hours just to make sure the carbonation is building up. But when we see bubbles rising from top to bottom, that's when you know they'll be ready. After that 24 hours of fermenting at room temperature, we have to put them in the fridge until they're completely cooled. So I'll probably leave them in the fridge overnight, depending on what time they're done fermenting. And then after that, we can give it a try. So super, super excited. I will see you guys in a day or so. All right, you guys, good morning. It's been almost, I think, 72 hours, but the thing is, I have to hop on a plane soon, so I'm gonna have to leave my husband up to this, who is our recorder here, to tend to our ginger bug sodas, because although the recipe said that it was gonna be ready in 24 hours, they definitely just weren't fizzy. They weren't very carbonated. We tried one yesterday. So let me see how they are today. The recipe says that you should be burping them every 12 hours to avoid any overcarbonation that could lead to an explosion. So let's see. They all look pretty much the same. Yesterday, one thing that I did was add a little bit more sugar and of that blueberry juice in each bottle, and that seemed to help the fermentation really get going. So let's see. Yeah. So our carbonation isn't quite where we want it to be. So I'm going to leave these out. I'm going to have my husband just check on them tonight. and we'll see if they're ready then. But for now, I'm just burping them, and yeah, I gotta go catch a flight. So I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, you guys, I'm finally able to finish up this video. It's been kind of a rough week. Baby girl ended up getting sick for the very first time while we were out in Michigan visiting my mom, her grandma. And I don't know if you guys can hear it in my voice, but I ended up getting whatever she had. So I'm still kind of battling that right now, but I wanted to show you guys how good these sodas turned out. They turned out absolutely delicious. And so in the last clip, I was on my way about to leave to go catch a flight. So I had my husband put the sodas in the fridge that night, and just a couple days ago we tried them for the first time. Just because of the whole sickness and everything, I wasn't able to record. I was just like, that's not the priority right now. So I just wanted to show you guys the finished product though, because they turned out absolutely delicious, flavor and all. So just to demonstrate, here, I'll show you guys if you can see the bottle first. Let's see if this one is fizzing. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. I don't even think this one is fizzing like that, but let's see what it does when I pour it into a glass with some ice. I think next time I'll ferment them for a little bit longer. Had I not been about to leave to go out of town, then I probably would have just kept these out a little longer so that they could get a little bit more fermented and fizzy, but nonetheless, they turned out really, really good. So I'm just gonna show you guys. Let's see if we can see. So you can see a little bit of the bubbles, some of the activity, but these have been sitting in the fridge for about a week, a little over a week at this point. So I suppose they're not as when I first made them, but let me try it. It has a slight carbonation. It's a really nice balance between carbonated and not carbonated. A little less strong than kombucha, but like I said, next time I'll just leave them out a little longer so that we can really get that carbon dioxide activity up a little bit, and they'll be a lot more bubbly and fizzy and really remind you of soda. But either way, this is 10 out of 10 delicious. This will be perfect for the summer. I'm not sure what flavor I'm gonna do next time. I'm thinking maybe like a mango, or maybe a tropical, like a pineapple mango sounds really good. Anyway, I really encourage you guys to give this a try. The ginger bug was really easy to make. Really all you need to do is tend to it once per day until it's active and ready to go. And like I said, I'll link that recipe for the ginger bug and also the one that I use for the ginger bug soda as well down in the description box. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me in my kitchen. And if you guys like this video and want to see more content like this, let me know down below in the comments. That just lets me know that you guys are enjoying this content, and I'll make sure that I start putting out more content like this around delicious recipes, fermentation, gut-friendly, probiotic rich sodas such as this. And this is definitely a game changer. If you've been looking for a healthier alternative for soda, but also you want to save money as well, I think this is going to be a great budget-friendly recipe. And I think it's also really fun to do if you guys have kids and you guys want to kind of take on a new project. Honestly, it kind of felt like a science experiment to me, kind of similar to sourdough, but a little bit more fun. And you can get really creative with the flavors, like I said as well. So be sure to hit that subscribe button if you guys want to be notified every time I put out a new video. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one.